That's what jiu-jitsu
And
does.
this is an easy teach. This is something that doesn't take years of practice to be able to implement in those times. This is something that's big movements. So even a toddler can do it. Therefore, it's...
Correct. Obviously, it's like anything else. The more you do it, the better you get.
Yes. However, because the amount of effective training that police officers actually receive, that is something that they can be trained in.
Yeah.
Quickly and effectively, and changes can start immediately.
Yeah. That was what I was saying was jiu-jitsu is so effective that if they were to roll it out tomorrow across every department in this country, if they were to implement jiu-jitsu and have every department in this country training it and using it in their defensive tactics and in their academies, it is so stark of a difference from what is being taught today that it would be night and day. It would make that big of a significant change in law enforcement, where we would go from seeing issues like we're seeing today when police officers are killing people and attacking people, and you see 9 to 10 to 15 police officers piled on top of one man. It would change all of that to the point where it would look like the difference between night and day. It is so effective. Now, there's going to be plenty of people that disagree with me. That's great. Get your own fucking podcast and record your own fucking episode.
Like you said, if there's cops, though, that are...
Yeah, come talk to me, please.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't know jiu-jitsu. I'll happily show you how effective it is. I'm not looking to fight police officers.
I'm like that. You might want to question that.
I'm not looking to fight police officers. I'm just saying
it's out that
it's
you're
really easy to show
that you're Mexican, so that means you're in danger. You got to be. That was shitty.
You're fine.
I don't. It's not factual though.
Right.
Like I make a joke about it, and I shouldn't, because it's a safe way to put it out there and call out how deadly it can be to be a color other than white. But it's not. That's what's happening.
You know, that is
Please.
what's happening. Where was I going? It's that big of a difference. It's that easily taught. Stephanie referenced what happened when I tried to of bring it up at my department. And it wasn't even just at my department. When I went through the academy and was going through the training at the academy, I would bring it up. I'd be like, hey, they would show you some techniques.
And this is Aikido they're teaching.
So both.
Oh.
When I say both, they don't just teach Aikido. That's just one aspect of what they're teaching.
Okay.
So if the fact is they don't really teach.
Again, I've never been through the academy. So.
They don't really teach a form of self-defense. They teach a bunch of different little techniques.
They cherry pick what they think is effective.
Yes.
And then say, this is what your steps are. Okay. Yeah. I've got it.
So during the academy, I would bring it up and be like, hey, like this is something that actually makes this way better and way easier to do. And depending on the instructor, first off, you have to understand that when it comes to each state has their own governing board, and not every state has one, and not every agency cares or follows these governing boards. But you have a police officer standards and training is usually what it's called. And they set the standards for all the rules and regulations that police officers are not only taught, but kind of what they're required to uphold to. And there's a lot of approved tactics and techniques for self-defense and for control tactics. Approved meaning post-certified approved tactics. So this is a tactic that this is what you're essentially told, or the understanding is, this is something that has been implemented over the course of years and years and years in law enforcement, and is so highly effective. I almost said ineffective, which it is.
It is ineffective.
So highly effective that it's tried and true police tactics that we are now teaching you. That's what you're kind of led to believe.
Yes.
Now, I went into that with my background in jiu-jitsu, and I knew what was effective because I had done it for years. And then they would show me things that I'm like, that doesn't work. They would show you blocks for punches. So if somebody's punching you,
some of those,
and somebody's punching you,
show me how it didn't work. But yeah,
right. Hold on, punch me with the right arm, not the right. Nope. Sorry, your left arm. I need you to punch me with your left arm. Nope, not straightforward like that. Don't punch me right in my nose. You have to come out from the side. I need a wide sweeping hook for my technique to work. Would you mind slowing that down a little bit? Because you went too fast and I wasn't ready. So they teach
kind of
you
obvious, right?
tactics to block a punch
that you know is coming and is going at a safe speed.
Hold on.
Okay.
I want you to think of all the UFC fights that you've watched.
Okay.
Do you see a lot of UFC fighters blocking a punch coming from somebody? Do you see them coming up and going, block, and then grabbing their wrist and then sliding?
No.
None of the shit.
Yes.
Because it doesn't fucking work in real life.
I don't know that. Yeah. I was going even beyond UFC on how much have I seen somebody be like, whoa, other than the Karate Kid.
Right?
Or Bruce Lee.
So the tactics that they teach don't work.
I don't see how.
So I would say, hey, this works. Why don't you guys teach this? Or why don't we why don't we do this? And the problem is the person teaching the class oftentimes is a police officer. It's somebody in law enforcement that's teaching the class, right? And they are required to keep their job to teach these specific tactics. And unless it falls under those specific tactics, you can't teach it. Let me explain why. Because if an officer employs that tactic while on duty and he gets fired or criminally charged or has some sort of action, and he says, wait a minute, I was taught this at post. I thought this was a post-certified tactic, which is why I implemented it. So that's why they can't teach anything that's not post-certified, because of the liability issue that if an officer comes back and says, I learned this at post from this specific trainer, now post is now liable for that officer's actions. Maybe he killed somebody. So all of it is designed to protect the entity itself from liability issues and also provide the officers with a shit fucking skill set to do anything. And if they actually wanted to learn something that was not post-certified that might actually be effective, they potentially risk losing their job. That doesn't make sense to me.